Indeed, greetings unto you, my beloved and holy friend. Thank you so much for being here again on another video. I always appreciate your presence so much. If you enjoy what it is we're doing here, consider liking the video, consider subscribing, and do leave a comment. I try and read and answer every single one of them. Let's melt more into being. There we go. If you're wondering what it is you're doing here, then I don't exactly know what to tell you, my friend. Because this journey, this mission, this path that we've embarked upon is always changing and always growing. And it makes me so happy to be able to share this feeling, this sensation, this space with all of you. So I appreciate you being here right now and in this moment here with me. You know what? I feel this is the thing worth saying today. I ask only that I be transformed into the perfect field of awareness through which love flows without obstruction. I ask only that I be transformed into the perfect field of awareness through which love flows without obstruction. Because the only obstruction to love is fear. We live, yet not us, but the one is living us. Even I am a mystery with which I am in a relationship. Be with the mind, body, and spirit, and welcome a relationship of awe and mystery. Look at yourself then in the same way you would look at a star in the night sky. Damn. Some good information. Let me read some comments. Hey, we have Naomi and Lindsay in chat already. Hello, my friends. Hey, friend, happy Thursday. Thank you, Lindsay. Happy Thursday to you as well, or your Thursday is just starting. So I guess happy Thursday to you. And hey, Naomi, I hope that you're well as well. My day has been going really well. I feel like, man, I'll share in a second, actually. I'm going to pour myself a glass of water so that I have it on the ready when I beckon for it. So yeah, basically in today's meditation, I was basically meditating with the intent to not only find something to talk about, but to be guided to what I'm supposed to be talking about today. And I felt like a little bit stuck in my meditation. I felt like I didn't get to where I wanted to go, if that makes any sense. And I opened my eyes, which is usually something I try not to do during meditation. And I looked down at the ground, and there was this little seed, this brown little seed with this green little circle on both sides of it. And I've never seen a seed like that before. And my basically my thoughts took this little seed because I picked it up and I actually held it in my hand. And it just kind of ran with this idea of this seed and how it was making me feel. Hey, Aaron, I'm happy that you're here as well, my friend. And I'll read your comment in a second, Naomi. I'll get to it, I promise. So, like, we've been reading together a book called The Five Intentions by Frank Ostaseski. And today he was talking about this potential, this infinite potential that we have as a baby, as a child. And basically, so the way that they introduce this idea of talking about children is in a hospital where there's a lot of suffering in a hospital, a lot of people passing away. People go there because they're sick, people go there because they are injured, people go there because they need operations, some sort of medical help. But it's also a place where babies are delivered, right? So there's definitely this duality in hospitals, and it's very difficult to separate yourself from that duality. So something that they do in the hospital, every single time a new child is born, they play lullaby over the entire, like, PA system, is that what you call it? Like, basically the sound system of the hospital. In every single room, for every single one of the wards, everyone are basically reminded about the fact that there is new life now in the world. And like, I read this message this morning, but I didn't feel like I really absorbed it, or I really took in the information that he was trying to present to me. And then during this meditation, and when I picked up that seed, like my first thought was like a thought of mystery, right? What is the seed? Where did it come from? Like, did a bird eat it? If a bird ate it, why is it still intact? And I was sitting underneath that mulberry tree as well. And that mulberry tree, I mean, would drop mulberry seeds, which is like minuscule in its own, one. And the fact that it it wouldn't be dropping seed like that. So I was looking at the seed from a complete place of mystery. I even went and I googled what this seed is, but I couldn't find any information online. Showed it to my father. He also had no idea what it is. So I have now taken it upon myself to grow this little seed so that I can know what this seed is. And as I was like basically processing this information of not knowing what seed this is and wanting to know what seed this is, it kind of started to permeate my field of consciousness. Just the amount of, possibility, the amount of variation, the amount of potential that this little seed holds. Because I don't know what this seed is, and I don't know where it came from. And yet, in that perfect moment, it was almost given to me as a lesson again. And I still have that seed. You can bet I'm going to grow it. And I want to actually cultivate it in my room. Because I've been talking, like at least I was talking to Naomi the other day, where I said that I also actually want houseplants. Because I don't, for some reason, I don't have any living things inside of my room. So I definitely feel almost a calling to grow this little seed and to see what comes of it. So yeah, infinite potential. And he basically went into talking about how a baby girl, even though she is not actively shaping her future, like I believe we in this moment are actively shaping our futures because we're doing things with intent. We're doing things for a reason as well, right? And as we continue doing things with this intent, with this reason, we're basically shaping our futures as we're going. And as we're building on our lives, we are also shaping our lives. So even though a baby, or like let's say an infant, doesn't necessarily have that much power or creative power, let's say that, over its tomorrow, it still has the infinite potential of its future. And like I'm thinking about this little seed as well, because like for all I know, like ideally this seed that I want to grow would be a tree, right? That is at least the hope I have in my mind. And like yesterday's lesson, for me at least, was definitely what hope is supposed to be and not what I think hope is. So like, and again, I encountered that thought in myself, because if I'm going to be spending life energy growing this seed, obviously I want it to be something that I would like to thrive, right? If it's a type of weed, then I don't exactly want it to continue living. And then I kind of realized again how that was his hope. Like my hope was that this would be a beautiful tree that I can plant somewhere on the farm, or even take with me. Who knows? Like infinite infinite possibility and infinite potential. But for me right now, I feel like instead of shifting my hope towards hoping that it is a tree, something that I could plant, I should rather shift my hope towards it actually just germinating, just being able to see it become alive, if that makes any sense. Yeah, man, we learn so much if we just allow ourselves, even from something as arbitrary and minuscule as a little seed on the ground. We can open ourselves to information. Let me actually read some comments. Sorry, we have a ton of rain coming here, just raining lightly right now, but it seems like I might have an adventurous drive home tonight. Oh no, I hope that you're going to stay safe, Naomi. It sounds like it's going to be an adventurous ride indeed. Like, what is a lot of rain for you? I don't know if you measure your rain in millimeters, but do feel free to tell me actually how much millimeters of rain is a lot of rain to you. Because on the farm, if we get like 20 mils of rain in a day, that is like a decent amount. And then if we get like 80 mils in a day, then our roads are like completely slippery. So like there's this scale, right? Like for me, 80 mils of rain in a day is a lot of rain. But in Australia, like I don't know if you friends know, but Australia got like a massive cloud break. I don't know if that's what you call it, but they got a meter of rain. A meter. Not a few millimeters, a meter. Like houses were up to their roofs in water. That's a lot of rain. Like I hope you don't get that much rain, Naomi. Hey, there's my friends. Hey, Jovan, welcome. I'm happy that you're here. Yes, they do that here too when a baby is born. I'm happy. I'm so happy to hear that, Lindsay. I feel it's such a beautiful thing because in that moment, like again, it's the hope of the possibility of life, always thriving life. Even though like some of those people would be in a hospital ward, breathing their last breaths, being reminded that new life is coming into this world. Like imagine, like I really like to imagine myself into scenarios. And the way that I'm thinking about this right now is myself as like 100-year-old man, like literally laying on my deathbed, not having more than a week to live, and then being reminded that there is a brand new, infinite potential being born just a few wards like away from me. Something is biting me in my pants. I think it might be a piece of grass or something. Infinite potential, right? And like as a 100-year-old man, you've seen so much, you've experienced so much, you've lived so much, and to think that there is a being coming into this world who has had none of that, and yet has all of that as potential. Like, man, it really makes me think. And again, it comes back to the unique experiences, right? How every single one of our lives are an amazingly unique experience because we have this infinite potential. We literally have infinite potential. Like you could, if you wanted to, drop your job and go and be a monk, or you could become a hermit and go and live in the forest, or you could go and study and become a whole different profession, or you could, start to do marathons and become a marathon runner, or you can become a full-time gardener and throw yourself into that passion. And the best part about that is you can make these literally life-changing decisions. And all it takes is a single decision. If I decide now I want to be a gardener, then the way that my life is going to play out is going to be divinely unique because of that decision that I made. And I'm going to have a unique experience because of that decision as well. And when a new child is born, or when when a seed is put into the ground, there is this decision almost about what is going to happen next, because sometimes they don't germinate. And like, I want to backtrack just a little bit. The thing about seeds as well is like all of the potential to be everything it could be is already within that little seed, right? Like for me, I'm thinking about like specifically flowers, because I'm growing some flowers right now, and it's so interesting to me to see how I'm using, in my opinion, the same looking seeds, putting them in the ground, and then they express themselves in completely different ways, in the smells that they make, in the way that they look, in the way that their branches grow. Like every single one of them are completely unique, and they started off as the same little seed. And I believe we start off as the same little human being, right? We are. So this is one of those opinions, and it's a thought experiment. And I actually want to clarify that as well. Like the things that we're talking about on this stream, all of it isn't, I'm not trying to say this is how it is, this is the rule, this is exactly how things are supposed to be. All of the things that we share on these streams are like informational systems, ideas that have been had throughout the ages. And it's, I believe, playing with these ideas gives us more perspective in our own journey to become the spiritual beings that we're supposed to be. Because I don't believe that if you You can study all of the spiritual books and still not, reach a point of enlightenment if you don't actually respect the teachings that you're learning and you're trying to actively implement them into your own life. These things won't really have any value in your life. And in the same way, it is just the learning process. Again, it is exactly, in my opinion, like what we're supposed to do is we're literally living, breathing, communicating, learning devices, these bodies that we inhabit. And goodness me, we learn every single day. No matter what we're doing, we are constantly learning. And the more we learn about ourselves, the more we shape our futures, I believe, at least. We can change the things that we're going to experience by realizing the things that we don't want to experience, or realizing the things that we want to experience in every single moment. And it's profoundly amazing to me to know that we have that power, that infinite potential, in that single seed to become something beautiful or to wither and die. Man, I love being alive. Goodness, I'm gonna take a sip of water, but before I do want to set an intention for why it is I'm drinking water, and I feel growth, because I'm thinking about this little seed, right? And at the end of the day, that seed's mission is growth, and I think our mission should be growth as well. Growth in our personalities, growth in our spirituality, growth in our expression of self as well. And if we allow ourselves to continue growing, just imagine what we are yet to become. So, my friends, to growth. Mm. I like your canines. Thank you, my friend. They're not that big, but they are canines, I guess. And thank you for the tree hug. I appreciate it, Naomi. Woof woof. Hey, Dan. What's up, dog? Hello, everyone. Hey, Lazy B. How are you, my friend? Who else am I missing? It seems we don't have Justin in stream just yet, but we do have Edmund. Hey, Edmund. How are you, my friend? Stream seems a lot better today. Good. I'm very happy to hear that. It was. And yesterday, like it was, I've been thinking about it so much. And I did actually end up sending a message to the mod team, and they told me they didn't, know about this issue. It was probably just a Reddit side thing. And then the mod also offered to look into it, making sure. Like I was specifically talking this morning because it's been 5 days in a row when the comments aren't coming through on the morning streams. Oh, the cat is rubbing himself against me. Keats, Keats, can you see him? There he is. You can see him. um, yeah. So basically, he offered, or she offered, to go and check the usernames that were trying to comment and to see if they weren't like blocked or something or had any filters on. And I was like, nah, it's Toasty and Aunt B and Jovan. Like, these friends always have the capacity to comment. Like, there's definitely nothing fishy going on there. So I don't even think it's necessary for you to check. This cat is... I know you want me to pet you, cat, but I need to be able to wash my hands afterwards. Otherwise, I'm going to be sneezing. Yeah. And it's just, again, I'm so appreciative of this space that we get to share and the people that make this space possible as well. So I'm happy that the stream is working today. I knew that it was just going to be like a minor fluke, if you will. Nothing permanent. And it was definitely a necessary lesson yesterday as well, because I felt like I was talking about hope and mature hope versus immature hope, where immature hope expects a certain result, and if that certain result doesn't happen, then the hope is almost defeated. Where mature hope is hope for things to change, because things will always change. So all you can really do is hope that things will change for the better, and not to have an attachment to what that better outcome might be. And I felt like I was talking about this message, and on some level kind of understood it. And then as the streams were giving us problems, and it was glitching constantly, and I actually went back and watched the stream as well, and I read all of your comments again, and like even the replay of the stream was completely glitched. So I was feeling the lesson that I was supposed to be learning, because my hope was that the stream, would be glitch free. And I was trying to talk about hope not having an attachment to a specific outcome. And I realized in that, process that I was holding on to a specific outcome instead of hoping for things to just be the way that they are, and for hoping for things to be good. And the best part about that as well was you friends were good. Like, you were everything that I could ever hope for. And yet I was looking, I could vastgekeken. I was looking onto a wall of, oh, this thing isn't right. So like, this is why I am almost justified to feel perturbed. And yeah, we're learning lessons, my friends, and it makes me so happy. Nurturing life from seeds is rewarding. So far, the only ones I have started from seed are herbs, that don't seem to do as well in my window right now, and I'm not sure why. Might be cold, actually, Naomi. Like, at least as far as I know, herbs like a little bit more of a humid, warmer weather. Like, my sister is also growing some herbs. So when winter comes along, I'll tell you how her herbs are going to fare. Then we can, draw some conclusions. I can remember when they did it, when my daughter was born. She was born on a leap day. Okay, that's really cool. She's going to probably deal with people making jokes about her being only 8 years old when she's in her 30s. Or is it 6 years old? No, 8 years old in her 30s. If she's going to encourage it. Do you make jokes like that with her, actually? Like, oh, you're actually only 2 years old if she's actually 8 years old. It's a really cool phenomenon. Leap years. I think they said anywhere from 25 to 50 mils, depending on the area. I might have to double check that. I'm always concerned in the spring because when my parents live on the river, they have gotten flooded a few times in my life. Oh, goodness. Well, let's hope that is not something that happens, Naomi. Like, the thing is as well, we can have an attachment again to a certain outcome, but let's just hope for for an outcome, not for a specific outcome, right? And it's so difficult. Like, even though I feel like I kind of had this message just like kind of shoved in my face, like, hey, wake up, look at this lesson, look, open your eyes and actually look. And yet, even though I feel like my eyes are being pried open to actually look at this lesson, it's still hard. It's like a bright lesson. It's like, oh, I don't want to not have like specific outcomes. We're learning, friends. Thor, the love is strong today. I love you, brother. I love you too, my friend. Thank you for being here. When are you taking us on a field trip? Your vast and fertile lands, Meltmore. My friend, I told you yesterday as well, the problem isn't so much me not wanting to take you on a field trip. The problem is, if I take you further than a certain area, you're not going to be able to tune in anymore because the stream just won't work anymore because of the Wi-Fi connection. But I guess I could take a proper video for you, just like kind of roaming, and then upload that video for you on YouTube, and then I guess you could use that. And the thing is as well, it's not all that illustrious. It's kind of just a farm to me. There's a bunch of stuff that I don't approve of, if you will. Stuff laying around, farm stuff that I'm like not even ashamed to say that I'm embarrassed about. So like, maybe that's the resistance I have inside of myself, and I'm trying to become aware of these things as well, because I feel we do sometimes not do things because we have this resistance. And what I'm trying to identify right now is that feeling coming from fear, judgment, love, or forgiveness. And I feel it's definitely a judgment on my part, where I'm judging my environment and then feeling, almost extrapolating the judgments that others will have, instead of forgiving the space, forgiving myself for thinking the things that I'm thinking, and then still sharing because I love you, friends. Whew. Yeah, yeah, let's become more and more aware of my friends every single day. Mm. Good morning, Melt fam. The stream is working. Yeah, it is, Justin. The stream is properly working. We don't have to worry about. Like I as I said, I went back and I watched it myself. It was quite painful, and it was a weird glitch as well. It was like it like stopped on my face, and then it continued with the video, and then the video kind of caught back up, and then it just like cut out everything that was said when it was kind of stuck, and then that happened over and over and over again. So it wasn't even like I don't think that was a connectivity issue on my side, because look, here we are, and I'm actually sitting further away from the house than I did yesterday. So it's working, fortunately. That's such a profound way to see birth. Infinite potential. Like, that's the thing as well. Like, and this is something we've had a chat on stream before about. We've had a chat about this before on stream. There we go. About how, like, thinking about fathership. And I do want to be a father. And it's something that intimidates me. It really does intimidate me, because I feel like I didn't have the best relationship with my dad growing up. And me and my dad had a very heated conversation last night. One of the things that I said is, I believe, and this is something I hold true in my heart, that me and God are one. I can never be separate from the mind of God. I am loved, loving, lovable, and worthy of love forever and always. And these are practices, soul practices, I feel, that I repeat to myself. And my dad doesn't believe that we are one with God. He believes that we are, his lowly creations. And he also doesn't believe that he is the observer. And he identifies completely with his thoughts. And he sees himself as his thoughts as well. And we were having a conversation about that first outside while my video was, getting transferred onto my computer. And then at the dinner table as well, like probably 2 hours of us arguing, you could say, but we were just having a conversation. We weren't angry at each other. And my belief is, honestly, that God created us to be creators. And he created us with this intention of love. My dad also believes that we are going to be judged. And he believes that if God doesn't punish you for the things that you've done in your life, he is not a good God, or he's not a just God, is the word he uses. And I believe judgment is not something that God does. That is my belief. I believe that God is love and forgiveness. So how can a God of love and forgiveness be judgmental, right? Like, it feels like a logical fallacy to me to say God is a judgeful God and say God is a loving God. And yeah, like we completely disagree. Like, my dad is also a very devout Christian. So anything that isn't in the Bible, he doesn't agree with. He calls the things that I believe New Age. And I'm like, what is New Age about it? Like, these ideas have been practiced for thousands of years. Nothing about it is New Age. I just feel and my dad also likes to say this, he believes that the Christian God is the only one true God. And he believes that all other gods are false gods. And what I believe is that all religions basically try and explain the same God. And then he was like, oh, what about the Hindu religion, where they have like 2,000 or something gods? And I was like, well, basically, they just extrapolated what God could be, all the different aspects of God. And still, God is like a multifaceted being. And you can call it what you want. You can call it source, you can call it the universe, you can call it Brahman, you can call it Abba. Like, there's so many words for this thing that is so beyond our small human minds that, yeah, I think it is naive to believe that there is only, one book that is going to completely sum up this thing that is so beyond our human senses and our human brains as well. It seems my dad is leaving. You probably hear the truck. Interestingly enough, we call trucks in South Africa bakkies. If you ever want to make a South African smile, You just ask him if he drives a bakkie. You'll know what you're talking about. Yeah, and it's a difficult thing as well, because like I really enjoy having conversations with my dad, and I really like sharing these mindsets with him. But the thing with him is as well, like when he's talking to me, I try and listen to the things that he's saying and try and understand. But when I'm talking to him, he basically just tries to find the thing that I'm saying wrong and the thing that he's supposed to correct. And it's been like that my entire life and my entire relationship with my dad as well. Unfortunately, I want to say, because it feels like there's a separation between me and him because of these belief systems. Not because of the people that we are, not because of the messages that we want to give each other, not because of the love that we share with each other, but because of these belief systems. And arguably, like when I was a little bit younger, when I was like in my 13s and 14s, my dad started working away from home, so he wouldn't be home a lot. And then when he would come home, he'd be working. And I was still, well, at that point I started to move into atheism. And one of my reasons for being an atheist was the fact that I saw the father that I had, and the Bible's teachings is basically this: oh, you should be God-fearing, God is the only father, this and that. And I was like making these connections in my own mind and my own feeling, that if the father that God gave me is the way that he is, then the father that God is probably the same way. And I was like, why would I want another father that judges me, that wants me to fear him, that wants to force ideas down my throat, that wants me to be a certain way and not for me to be the way that I'm supposed to be, if that makes any sense. The way that I'm supposed to discover how I'm supposed to be. And I became resentful, literally resentful. And this is something I've mentioned before. I was a devout atheist, like atheist to the point where I wanted to convince people that God wasn't real. And that was a very dark time of my life as well, because I was wrong. I was completely wrong, and it definitely did hurt me. And that is also a reason, like during that time, like where now I'm a complete believer of source, of God, of the universe, and I understand and I can feel my connection with him as well, or her, or it, or they, whatever you want to call it. And like it's such a contrast, because like where I was arguing with my dad at one point in my life about being an atheist. And you see, the thing is as well, my dad really likes holding the past over my head. So like I believe in evolution as well. So like the fact that intelligence drives evolution, not evolution drives intelligence, because God in his infinite wisdom knew exactly what he was doing in the creation of our universe and in the creation of us. And if that needed to take a few billion years to do, then so be it. God is a creator. And we were having a conversation about this, and my dad is like, oh, I'm not going to think that much about God if it took him like billions of years to create our universe. And I was like, I was looking at my dad and just like trying to process exactly what he just said. I'm not going to think that much of God if it took him billions of years to create our universe. And I was like, what the are you on about? Have you seen our universe? Have you seen the amount of space, the vastness, oh yeah, the spaciousness of our universe? Like, wow. And I was like flabbergasted. I was like, what are you talking about? But yeah, like these are the things that I want to be talking about as well. And I just wish there was some level of understanding between me and my dad as well, because he's also not a believer. Like, yeah, I'm not actually gonna talk about this on stream. It's about the compounds that some plants have, and the compounds that some plants have can create altered states of consciousness. And my dad is like scared shitless of those altered states of consciousness, and it's something that I question. I'm like, why, Dad? Why are you scared of these altered states of consciousness? So, man, we're learning, my friend. We're learning. I'm growing a peach tree from a peach I ate. I get peaches from that tree, and I like to think others will eat from that tree when I'm gone. It's cool. Yeah, it really is, my friend. Like, grow another peach tree, grow another peach tree, and then after you've passed, you can still provide a creation for someone because you have created that tree, even though it wasn't you. And this is something that I mentioned in the Discord as well. Like, even though we put our love and our energy and our water into the seed, everything is going to be taken care of by Father, Son, and Mother Earth. And we kind of just have to stand back. Like, you can't intervene as well. Like, if you have a seed in the ground and you're going to like be scratching it open, trying to break it open, trying to force this little sapling out, you're going to kill it. You're absolutely going to kill it. So it's kind of this give and take of being nurturing and giving it the love and the attention that it needs, attention and intention that it needs, and then also becoming completely aware that you don't have full control over that experience. And it's a very intimate relationship, I feel, we have with our universe as well when you grow plants, because instead of just, going through life not participating in this creation, and obviously we are participating in creation, even if you go through life saying a single word, standing up once from your bed, then you still have created. But I feel it's almost like the next step when you grow plants for yourself, when you try and create these things. And I think it's even more beautiful to do it with like a peach tree, because then one day, as you said, children might eat from this peach tree, not knowing who has planted it, not knowing how much energy and how much love have been put into this tree, but being able to experience you and being able to experience the love and energy put into that tree. And that's a profound thought to me as well, my friend. Meltmore is a Hydra homie. Yes, I am, friend. I am a Hydra homie. I could never start my day this high. I'm completely sober, my friend. But thank you. I appreciate you thinking I am. Only they're big canines. Yeah, I'm actually a vampire, my friend. 10,000-year-old vampire. I've been guiding humanity towards civilization for so long. But then I kind of slept for like 2,000 years, and then like things went amok. How are you surviving the sun? Like I'm mostly in shade, and it is like the late sun as well, and it is moving towards winter, so it's not as hot anymore. And I do have my pashmina on, which kind of helps somehow. Yeah, I'm here. I'm happy that you're here, Justin. I am happy. Thank you for the silver, my friend. We're all just a big farm fam, a family. I've never heard that one, actually, Dan. A family, man. Oh, I mean, we have Uncle Becky and Aunt, like Mrs. Poop the Snoot as well. So yeah, our farm fam is growing. Mm. Hmm. I live in the city and would love to watch a YouTube video of your farm and countryside. Okay, okay, Aaron. So, like, I'm going to show you a lot more than just our immediate environment if I do make that YouTube video, because we have a decent amount of space, and there's one specific place that I really want to show you. And if like I would really love to be able to throw a party for us friends as well and take you to that space, because I believe it's an extremely sacred space. It is like an old dead volcano, and it's like literally iron ore that like spilled from this volcano. So they are these big iron ore rocks, and they're super heavy and super dense, and they absorb the energy of the sun as well, so they get hot even throughout the night. And it has like a lapa and like a paving place and a place to make fire and to cook food. Oh, it's wonderful, friends. It really is wonderful, and I would love to show you and share that place with you as well. Mm. I'm jealous of your weather. It's snowing here today. Don't be jealous, my friend. Be happy that I have good weather. I've never seen snow in my life, so I could be jealous of you having snow today. But I'm happy that you have snow instead. And I'm imagining the snow that you have, and imagining the cold snowflakes falling on my skin, stepping into the snow with my bare feet, and instantly regretting it as well. Being completely snugged up in clothes so that I don't freeze. Like, that's an experience, my friend, and it's a unique experience. Be grateful for your unique experience. I can't decide whether or not I'd like to be a father. I have no contact with my father, and while I think I'd be good at it, I'm not sure, and I also feel intimidated by it. Same, Dan. Really, really, really same, actually. And it is intimidating, my friend. It really is intimidating. Imagining like creating a life, being completely responsible for said life. And the thing is as well, I'm very focused. I want to say on my relationships. It's something that's very important to me in my life. I feel the relationships we have with our friends and real intimate relationships are one of the most important things that we can do in this life. One of the most important energy fields that we can basically participate in. And it is something that intimidates me because if I have a child and we disagree about these things, I don't want that relationship to be affected in the same way that me and my father's relationship have been affected. And I feel you're probably feeling the same thing as well, Dan. And I think it is also a thing of releasing these thoughts and these feelings, not allowing ourselves to be too intimidated, if you will, and realizing as well that we are not our fathers, my friend. We're not going to be the same way our fathers were to us. And coming to that realization has also allowed me a little bit more clarity and a little bit more calm, I want to say, in the idea of becoming a father one day. What are your father's thoughts on Zeus? Yeah, my father would laugh at you if I suggested Zeus is a real thing, which I think. Okay, this is another one of those let's call it headcanon moments. Not something I believe, but an idea that we can play with. So, let's say because people for so long have believed that Zeus is an existing god, they have basically created him with their intention to have an existing god or a god named Zeus, if that makes sense. So maybe Zeus is real because people have made him so, with their belief and with their intention to make him so through their belief. Maybe I don't know anything. I'm just a kid. Melt, my folks are Christians too. A technique I'd offer you is to cease speaking to their minds and just speak to their hearts. Have your beliefs and let your parents have theirs. Just speak to their beliefs through your actions. I'm doing that, my friend. I am doing that. And I'm becoming more and more aware of that process, as you say, of speaking to their hearts through actions as well. And fortunately, my mom can see this as well because, like last night, with this argument, if you will, my dad like said, "Oh, you just want to start a fight." And my mom actually chipped in and said, "No, he's not. I'm not trying to fight with my dad. I like fighting to me is such a pointless act." And as I've told you as well, friends, that I believe that when we participate in like fighting, not in just environments, but the feeling of fighting, we're basically just perturbing our own souls. That anger is something that festers. Forgiveness separates us from our ability to love completely and fully. And the more I become aware of that, the more I see it in my life as well. So yeah, no fighting, my friend, but I do agree with you. Show them through actions, and I am trying to do that. I really am trying to do that. Christianity has arrogance. Our God is the one true God, and judgment and hatred. God will judge you. Build into it. Exactly, Dan. And it's not something that I agree with at all. Like being God fearing. You have like my dad yesterday. I think he said this like 3 times. Being or the start of all wisdom. No. How did he say it? Uh, Fearing God is the start of all wisdom, or something like that. He said. I'm like, no, you shouldn't be fearing God at all, actually. Da, da, da. Did I miss something? Yep, that's exactly how devout Christians debate spirituality. There is no interest in mutual understanding. Their view, those conversations is an opportunity to convert people and nothing else. Exactly. And my dad really likes saying this as well to me. He has this thing where he says, "Yeah, you're going through a phase. You're going to realize one day." and like stuff like that. And I'm like, actually, if you just listen to the things I'm saying, maybe it will make a little bit more sense. Sounds like he's not actively listening to you. A hard practice to learn, even for our elders. Yeah, you're very right, Justin, as well. And I also understand in a lot of ways, because I feel me and my dad's genetics are very similar. We look similar. We have similar body structures. We have similar voices. We have similar eyes. We have similar abilities to facially express. We're very similar in our beings, and I feel I've been a very stubborn person in my life as well, very reluctant to listen to people, and I feel I kind of got over that when I turned I want to say like maybe 20. Yeah, I think like at the age of 20, for the first time ever, I really started listening to people. Not only listening to them for the sake of listening, because I do believe that listening to people with the intent of just listening to them can be a very powerful practice, but it's a giving practice as well. You're giving that person a listening ear, and that is exactly the worth that is in that practice. But I also feel that getting to a point where you listen to people and you're actually trying to learn something from them is the next step of that. Because if the most important thing, or the most powerful practice, I could say, when talking to people, is to think of them as a teacher as well, and to see the things that they're saying to you, see the things that they're trying to share with you as a lesson in its own. Every single thing that someone says to you can be seen as a lesson, and not necessarily the exact words that they say to you should be taken as a lesson, but your interpretation of those words and the way that you feel about those words can also be seen as a lesson. For example, like this is something that I've been becoming more and more aware of, with our ability and our almost tendency to judge each other. So when someone talks to me and says something to me that I do not agree with, or that I do not think is right, or not, or that I think is not something that is uh, acceptable, I could say as well. I've tried to stop myself when I think like that, and try and ask myself, why is it I'm feeling the way that I'm feeling? Why is it I have this resistance towards what this person is saying? Why is it I have this need to judge what it is they're saying, instead of actually listening and learning from this experience? And again, by looking at people and seeing people as your teachers as well, you don't necessarily have to be taught by the words that they're saying to you, but you can be taught by the things that you're feeling about the words that they're saying to you. And yeah, I believe it's a very powerful, energetic practice to go into as well. I feel that. Hey, Toasty, welcome, my friend. I'm happy that you're here. Is anyone else having issues with the stream? I hope not. I hope not. I really do hope not. I'm sorry, Lazy B. Let's see if anyone else is having issues. It doesn't look like it just yet. But Edmund was also the last person that commented, and I don't know if the comments are once again stuck. So I'm going to finish the comments, and then if the comments are stuck, I'll start the stream over again. Sending you love and healing for you and your dad's relationship. I have hope for you both. Thank you. Thank you so much, Aaron. I'm not hopeless with my dad's relationship. Not at all. I just wish he was a little bit more open-minded about the things I'm trying to teach him. And yeah, that's the only thing I'm hoping for. But again, that hope is a specific hope, a hope that has, an attachment to it, a hope that I want a specific outcome out of. And again, that is not what it's supposed to be about. It's not about the outcome. It's about just having a relationship, regardless. It doesn't have to be a good relationship. It doesn't have to be a bad relationship. But if I can have a relationship with my dad, then that is what I'm hoping for. Not necessarily that he has to listen to me, but hopefully someday he does. It's hard, friends. Hope is hard. So nice not to be triggered by a freezing stream today, Mel. Life offers so many lessons in attachment and acceptance each day. it's up to us to be sufficiently present to learn from them. Absolutely, my friend. So that is actually the lesson that I learned today as well. Again, as you said, that being sufficiently present to learn them. I don't know if you were here for the entire stream, but yeah, found the seed, and something as arbitrary, as small as a little seed could really teach me so much, and I'm very thankful for that as well. Old dead volcano, yeah, and there's two of them actually, Toasty. There's one I can see right now, but it's really cool, my friend. I have a tree in my backyard named Zeus, and he has a scraggy brother named Hades. That's really cool, actually, Toasty. You want to send us a picture of Zeus? We like to decorate Hades in bows during the holidays. That is so wholesome, actually. Zeus and Hades, the trees. Have you friends played Hades? The is it like a 2D scroller? I'm not exactly sure. Like a dungeon crawler type game. Really fun. Really, really fun. You're basically Persephone's and Hades' child, born in the underworld, and because of that, I shouldn't spoil too much of the story. Let me just say you're born as Zagreus, the born child of Persephone and Zeus, and you were born in the underworld, and then you basically get access to these weapons of the gods, and you're trying to escape the underworld, and that's the basic premise of the game. It's really fun, even though I haven't played in like months, like a month basically, maybe one day again. Dude, Toasty, I love that. I really love that as well, actually, Edmund. It brings me so much joy, especially since Hades is the one getting decorated. I was briefly having some minor issues, but they seem to be cleared up. Okay, good, good. I'm happy to hear that. Very minor stream issues today. Stream is fine for me. Okay, good. Yeah, issues are done now. They were just going on for a little, but it seemed to be good now. Okay, that brings me some calm, but like you can probably see, so I have maybe miscalculated just a little bit, because I'm literally sitting in the one spot where the sun is actually shining. Like obviously I am. So I'm gonna add some water to my pashmina so that it becomes an opposite scarf, a drip scarf. That's the word we have used for it for a while. Basically, you wet the pashmina, and then that wetness cools you down instead of heating you up. I have to head out for work now. It was so nice to be here today. Thank you, Naomi, for being here today, my friend. It was nice to have you here as well. Hades looks fun. Is it like Dante's Inferno? Love that so much. Uh, I didn't play Dante's Inferno, so I can't really tell you. But if you're in the market for a fun type of dungeon crawler game where you get stronger with power ups, I'd highly recommend it, Toasty. Ooh, that's cold, but really nice. It's like yeah, you're basically like your only buttons is like Q for like a special attack, left click, right click, shift for like a dash, or is it space bar for dash? Like minimal buttons, and then your W ASD keys to move around, and then your mouse to point where you're going to hack and slash. It's like a hack and slash type of game. It makes you really feel actually like a badass. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna run through these demons. Your laugh is contagious. Thank you, Toasty. Like like laughing. That's also actually something that has really been what's the word I'm looking for? Not a sore place, not a place of doubt. Let me say that. Like at one point in my life, the things I would laugh about, I was almost like pompous about the things that I would laugh about. I would laugh at people instead of laughing at things, and it was during my very depressive states where I would be very mean to my brothers and sisters, or saying something to them, or uh, having them say something back to me and then laughing at it, and it was like a cackle laughter, and my mom would tell me that that is not a beautiful laugh. And it's something that has still stuck with me, because now I have this feeling, this intention, or this imagination of what a good laugh is supposed to be. But my friends, I am going to move the stream just like a smidgen this way, because the sun is kicking my ass, and I see that it's actually casting a shadow on my face as well. I'm gonna move this here. I'm gonna move this here. Man, it's not level at all. I'm gonna bring my stick that I'm leveling with. I have a leveling stick, my friends. Yo, it's already feeling better here. I'm gonna do this. It's level, but now it's tilted forwards. Let's see if I do this. Still significantly tilted forwards. Let's see if I do like so. Like so. Let's witness what OCD looks like, my friend. a live tutorial. What is OCD like? There we go. It's working. It's level. I don't have to trip about it anymore. Stream issues set to 0. Family set to go. Farmily set to go. Let's go. Yes. Why do you wake up so early? Or have you not gone to bed yet? I wake up early, my friend. It's not early for me. It's like afternoon for me. But I do wake up at 16 minutes to 5 or 4:44. And like, there's no specific reason. Like, the initial reason why I started waking up early was because a friend of mine shared with me this idea of the 5 a.m. club, where by waking up at 5 a.m., you're basically giving yourself a head start. And then the most important part of this like 5 a.m. thing is like the 20-20-20 rule. So you basically break that first hour you have in your day up in 20-minute segments. And then the first 20 minutes you exercise, the next 20 minutes you like journal, and then the last 20 minutes you like meditate or something like that. And because you have this extra hour in your day, you basically give yourself the ability to conquer your day, or you have an edge on your day. But I feel now more so that one of the reasons I'm waking up early is to share the sunrise that I experience, and to actually witness the sunrise myself as well. I feel it is definitely a powerful, energetic practice to wake up with the sun, and to thank the sun for another day as well. Not in a like a sun worship way, just in a mutual understanding of its part in my life. And yeah, it's just wonderful, my friend. And also, red light is good for you. And the late evening hours and the early morning hours of sunlight is mostly red spectrum light, so it's good for your skin and brain. And yeah, that's like one of the reasons I wake up early as well. I've been struggling trying to get my dad to kind of hear me, I guess. He's in his 60s. I don't know if he'll ever have a cooperative back and forth communication style, but I've been doing things with him that he enjoys. I think it brings balance in some ways, at least. I'm sure it does, Jovan. I'm really sure it does. And I'm also sorry. No. I'm thankful that regardless of your difficulty in communicating effectively, you still have the capacity to love your dad, to share that space with him, and to enjoy things with him, as you said, do things with him that he enjoys. You see, like, the one thing that is really difficult for me as well, Jovan, and this is something that really bothers me as an idea within inside of myself, because I feel in some ways it is a judgment, but there is something called the default mode network. And basically what your default mode network is this series of brain patterns that make up the being that you are. And our default mode networks are basically our egos as well, to a very large extent. And the older you get, the more set your default mode network becomes. And I feel as well that plant chemicals, and I don't feel this has been proven, some plant chemicals turn off our default mode networks. And because of that, it kind of utilizes the rest of our brain to still function cohesively, if that makes any sense. And with that change of cohesive experience, it turns off our default mode network. And then when that experience subsides, our default mode network comes back. But it comes back in a different way, in a more established way almost. It kind of identifies and recognizes the things or the patterns that doesn't serve it, and then it cuts them out, or it introduces new patterns that does serve it. And it's very difficult, Jovan, to help or to talk to people who have had their default mode network so set for so many years that it's very difficult for them to see anything else than the default mode network they understand. And because of that, it's difficult to have that, as you said, back and forth communication style. And it's not something I want to accept either, because I don't want to accept that I can't help my dad, or accept that I can't change him. And at the end of the day, that is exactly what I'm supposed to accept. I shouldn't have this need to change my dad, or I shouldn't have this need to help him, because he is experiencing and living a divine experience of his own. Becoming aware, friends, becoming more and more aware. How old am I? Well, my body is 22 years old, my friend. Thank you, Tactful Chemist, for the helpful award, my friend. Hehe. Family. Family. I got a good chuckle out of that, Dad. Me too. It's such a weird word. I would have died laughing if the camera tipped over and conked you on the head. Has it happened before? It almost happened once. Yeah, it actually almost happened once, where the wind was so bad that like it dropped my streaming setup, and like it broke my camera holding system off of the stick that's holding it. And I was like, oh wow, that is unfortunate. And then I ended the stream quickly. I got some super glue, stick the thing together again, and now it's working again. Sleep rocks. Sleep is good for you, my friend. It really is good for you. Like there's this thing, like the Buddha said that you only need like 4 hours of sleep, and you need to supplement the rest with meditation. And it's definitely something that intrigues me, but goodness, I don't know if I can function on 4 hours of sleep. The thing is as well, I am a firm believer in scientific research as well. And I understand that sleep is an essential thing, like an essential process in our bodies. Like, I don't know if you know this, friends, but our brains literally get a chemical wash when we sleep. Like, our spinal cord releases this, like, fluid over our brains when we sleep. And this fluid is almost like a solvent that kind of like soaks up all of the chemicals, all of the spent chemicals that our brain produces throughout our conscious waking lives. And then it like subsides again, and we're left fresh and in a new perspective. Da 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 da. 444, like Jay-Z album, I guess, like Jay-Z album, or like the number 4 3 times. Thanks, Siobhan. I love that word. It's like millennial dad humor. It is kind of like millennial dad humor, Dan. Farmily. I want you to go and say it to like Aunt B or Uncle Becky as well. I think they would appreciate it as well. I like your pash. Thank you, my friend. I also like it. It was a gift from a friend, and it makes me so happy. It's so intricate as well. One of our friends on stream has actually initiated the intention to send me a pashmina as well. I'm not sure if he has yet. He has been having a hard time getting around to it, but when it arrives, I look forward to actually being able to wear it as well. Yeah, Dad's definitely lived a life on autopilot. It hurts to see, but I think we can all do it. But I think all we can do is recognize what we're feeling and make the best of the experiences out of what we're given. Exactly, Jovan. And again, it's an attachment to a certain outcome, right? A hope for a certain outcome. Because, like, I feel, especially, oh man, I have some some bubbles, some burps because of the water I've been drinking. I feel we definitely have this specific want for our fathers as well, or for our just for everyone that we interact with. We want them to understand some of the things that we have come to learn. But the thing is as well, these things that you understand and that you have come to learn, you understand and you have come to learn because you also spent those years of experience learning these things intuitively for yourself. And it's very difficult to teach something that you gain through intuition to someone else because they don't think the same way that you do. They don't experience things the same way that you do. They don't have the same intuitions as you. And coming to accept that definitely has been something that's difficult for me as well, Jovan. 4 hours of awake time would be better. Goodness. I think sleeping for 20 hours a day would be a little bit abrasive. And I don't think it would be possible. But I think you wouldn't be able to sleep, but you would actually be meditating at some point as well. I feel when I stay in bed after I've slept enough, it's like I go into this like limbo stage where like I have these dream states, but I'm still aware that I'm awake, if that makes any sense. But also, I'm not allowed to hold too much information from those dream states either. And I wonder why that is. I have 2 kids, and despite the fact that I've been working on my own spiritual growth for 15 years now, I feel a responsibility for my kids, both over 18 now, path in life and well-being. I know they need to find their own path, and I fully support them, I guess you're saying, Serenity. And yeah, it really is that way as well. And this is also something that gets me a little bit concerned because I feel I'm definitely on a path of spirituality, right? As you said, we're on our own paths of spirituality. But I would not be able, and I feel I would be doing my child a disservice if I didn't try and teach him about spirituality, if I had a child. And then again, would it be wrong? Like I was taught the Christian religion growing up, and I feel because it was a very abrasive way to teach me things, like I was forced to go to church, I was forced to say a prayer at night. It was something that created resentment and resistance within my experience and within my soul. And I don't want that to happen with my kids through their path of spirituality. So if you've been on this path for 15 years and they're over 18, that means they were probably, young kids when you started on this process. So I'm curious, Serenity, when you started with this process, did you take them with you on this spiritual journey? Did you teach them the things that you were learning as you were learning them? Or did you see your spiritual growth as something that is owned to you, like it's something that you're supposed to be doing, and they are not going to be forced to experience the information that you're gaining through that spiritual growth? It's definitely something that is difficult for me to wrap my head around. New spot, cut stream. Did it? Back now? I hope not, my friend. Um, it seems it might be. I hope that it's back, my friend. Like I still have bars, so it shouldn't be. That shouldn't be a problem. I go into the same limbo state. I'm happy that you also experience that. It's a very interesting state. I think it's probably your theta brainwave state, I'm guessing. Yeah, definitely actually. I control those dream states. I can also control them, but I usually choose not to. This is something I got into like a lot at one point in my life, where I was like journaling down the things I was dreaming so that I can initiate the sense of wanting to remember what I was dreaming about in the dream state, kind of triggering the lucid dreaming state. But I felt like trying to be too lucid in my dreams, I was over involved and I wasn't learning the things I was supposed to be learning from those dream states. Like these days, I kind of not only accept but respect my dreams as something I'm supposed to be learning from and not supposed to be interacting with too directly, if that makes any sense. lucid dreaming. I've always been interested. There we go, Jovan. So I kind of answered your question without even intending to. I feel lucid dreaming definitely does have a place as well, but I feel the reason, at least right now, I've not gotten too deep into it, and I'm not pursuing it anymore as much as I did at one point in my life, is because I feel in the same way where we have this lucidity in our dream states, or rather the capacity to have this lucidity in our dream states, we also have the same capacity to be lucid in our waking states. And we can still change things, not quite as fast as in our dream states, but we can still change things in our waking states. And I think it is more important for me to focus my conscious energy into my waking state than to focus my conscious energy into my dreaming state. I did not force it onto them. I allow my words and, more importantly, my actions to be the teacher. That way, it's not me telling them what to do or think. I set the example and let them choose. Okay, now I have another question for you, Serenity. Are they also on spiritual paths themselves? And like, this is a very hard question to ask, but it's a. Let me just ask the thing that I want to ask. Are they, in your opinion, good people? The things that they're doing with their lives, the way that they interact with their friends and with their family, the way that they, you know, treat themselves, with the food that they eat, with the things that they do, with the passions that they're pursuing. Do you think that your example has been, your spiritual example, has been an influence on them to the point of them allowing spirituality into their lives as well? Because goodness, Serenity, it like scares me, friend. Because I think that is exactly Shantai. uh, like I think that is exactly what I'm going to do as well in my life if I have kids. Is, as you said, to live from example, completely from a place of being an example of a father, showing them what spirituality does for me, showing them how I treat others, showing them, and I think this is something that's very important as well. Like, it's very important to look at how people treat someone in service. And like I've learned a lot about people just watching how they treat people in service. Like, I feel, and this is something I really do, when I'm like at a restaurant, for example, I try and be friendly and have a conversation with the person that is serving me, treat them like an actual human being and not as a servant. And like, when you see people do the opposite of that, like it reveals a lot about where their mind and their soul is in this current stage of their development. We should treat everybody with respect. Treat the janitor like the CEO, and you will understand what it means to have compassion. Mm. I have a reoccurring dream where my dad and I are physically fighting. It's disturbing, and I'm not sure what to make of it. So, Poopsie, Dan, I don't know why I called you Poopsie just randomly. Anyway, like, this is actually something that I've experienced myself as well. Not so much physical fighting, but I feel it's still relevant. The things I've been feeling, or at least the thing I want to share. For me, it wasn't so much a physical confrontation with my dad, but the dreams that I had was more so this, like, I would like, okay, I actually have a very vivid dream of something like this that happened to me. So we were on the farm, me and my dad living on the farm, and I was in my room, and my dad came back from work, and I made him a sandwich, and like I buttered, like, and I'm very meticulous as well with the way that I do things. So I'm like, I butter even the edges of the corner. Like, I make sure like that thing is pristine, and I make the best sandwich I could possibly make. And I make him this sandwich, and I give him this sandwich, and he just like lashes out on me. Like, he like not screams at me, but raises his voice and speaks angrily at me, like, "Oh, how are you giving me this? You know that I'm working. You know that I'm busy. Like, da 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 da." And like, to me, in that dream state, I just felt so unworthy. Ooh, I'm gonna cry. I feel tears coming. No, suck him back. I felt so unworthy, friend, in that moment. And like I've had multiple dreams like that where I'm doing something and then my dad's reaction is just, "Oh, you're doing this thing wrong. You're not being what I taught you to be. You're not doing this thing that I taught you to do." And every single time it created this just this horrible feeling within inside of myself, and I'm sure that horrible feeling inside of you is also something that you feel with that physical confrontation. I feel as well as men, as masculines, like we're almost taught that violence is a way to resolve our problems. And like interestingly enough, I've had like fleeting thoughts like that as well. Like I'm getting to a point again. Like, and I was at one point very strong, and I was strong enough to beat my dad in like arm wrestling competitions. And during that time of my life, we were fighting more than ever. And I felt testosterone in me, like telling me to kick his ass. And I was like, you know, I could, but this would just ruin our relationship, and it would only hurt me more than it would solve anything. And every single time this thought comes up in me, I remind myself of that again. That it's just violence begets more violence, anger begets more anger. Everything begets unlike itself. Yeah, we should create lovingly. Have you ever considered polyphasic sleep? Polyphasic sleep is that when you sleep like 30 minutes, uh, like 16 times a day or something like that, right? Is it that long? Am I tripping? No. Yeah. Like you're spacing out your sleep in like these 30-minute sections. I've considered it, my friend, but I've never attempted it. Great question, Mel. They're not in the spiritual path that we discussed here, but I didn't get on this path until I was 35. At the core, they are good people, open-minded, kind, empathetic, but they're 18 and 20, so they do irresponsible things. They are miles ahead of where I was at that age, so I can't judge. The path is about progress, not perfection. Absolutely, Serenity. And thank you so, so much for sharing that information with me as well. Because, yeah, I agree completely with that actually. It is absolutely unequivocally about the progress that you're making, not about where you are, because there is no such thing as perfection. There's no point that we're going to reach where we're like, okay, good, I'm enlightened, I am a perfect spiritual being, you can't teach me anything, da 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 da, because that would be an illusion. That would be you basically, and this is actually something that a lot of, I think, spiritual teachers teach us as well, that if you feel you have finished your process of awakening, then you're just starting. So thank you so much, Serenity, for sharing that information with me. Yeah, it's perturbing to see people to treat service poorly. Yeah, it is. It really is. And like it doesn't make any sense to me either, Javan. Like, recognize humanity. Just recognize the humanity in another person. It's not that difficult. And if more people actually just did that, I think this world will be a better place overnight. My dad has encouraged me to confront him with violence, which is where I think it comes from. I've never given into that though. Also, despite having worked as a server in college, my dad treats restaurant workers like shit. Yeah, you see? And this is something very mean, I want to say as well, Dan, but I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Knowing the things that you've told me about your dad, I'm not surprised. But the only thing that we can really do is to forgive at the end of the day, Dan. Forgive your dad, like I'm forgiving my dad as well for the things that he's said to me, for the things that he's made me feel. Because at the end of the day, even though the things that he did and the things that he said wasn't, necessarily beneficial to my development. You see, I'm talking nonsense now. Wasn't necessarily what's the word I'm looking for? He didn't destroy my life. He made the life that I'm living right now, right? Even in his mistakes, even in his shortcomings, and even in your dad's shortcomings, and even in your dad's mistakes, you still became the beautiful, loving person that you are today, Dan. And it's very difficult to give any credit to our fathers because of the things that they've did. Give them credit for the way that we are right now. But at the end of the day, we are still, in some ways, shaped by the things that they did to us and for us. And forgiving them for the things that they did that we don't agree with is the only way that we will allow ourselves to love more fully and to love ourselves more fully, actually, as well, by releasing these ways of thinking. My friends, we have come to an end. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me on these streams. I appreciate your presence more than I can express. I hope to see you again tomorrow. Goodbye, my friends.